Hey there everybody, my name's Trudy. Many of you know me as One Grounded Angel. I am an angel card reader and energy healer based in Australia, and every week I do an angel card reading video where I shuffle the cards until a card jumps out for each day to help give you some guidance on what's going to come up for you this week, what it is you might need to know to navigate your journey. And as always, it will be your intuition that helps you best integrate those messages into your life. So as you watch this video, the best thing to do is to keep an open mind and to reflect on, I guess, to hold space for the fact that by the time the day comes around that I'm reading for, because I'm reading for the whole week, that the meanings may have changed. So sometimes they flag cards that are going to become more prominent later down the track. So this week is the week of August the 17th to the 23rd, 2020. We have a new moon on Wednesday, here in Australian time anyway, and that is in the sign of Leo. Leo is a sign of motivation, taking action, leadership, romance, drama, all these sorts of fiery aspects. So if you have goals around starting a business, for example, this would be a good time to do that. If you have goals around stepping up in some way, being a leader, it could be in your personal life. Sometimes the best person to be a leader to is yourself. Definitely a good time to set goals around that for the next 6 months. Maybe relationship goals could be a good time to work on those as well. So Monday's card is First Step, super practical card, particularly when we're talking about goals. Sometimes when we set goals, we get so overwhelmed we just don't start because they seem too big. And this is a very practical message on what to do in that situation. Break it down into small steps. If you just focus on the next step at a time, that is how you get things done. Books get written when you just focus on one chapter at a time. So don't let the scale of what you want to achieve put you off. Just break it up into small steps and do one thing at a time. That is how you will get it done. Very practical advice there from the angels, which we don't always get. Tuesday's card, Shield Yourself. We literally had this card last Sunday. So some deja vu coming up, but to be honest, there's a card with a message like this in just about every card deck I've got, because every single person needs to know this. Well, certainly every person watching this video or who identifies as an empath. If you're an empath, that means you are very susceptible to picking up on other people's energy. You are the sort of person who walks into a room and can feel the tension straight away. You can meet someone and know straight away whether they're trustworthy or not, even though your mind will go, oh, but they seem like such a good person and this person likes them, they must be okay. You're strongly intuitive, and sometimes you don't act on that, maybe because you're human, and sometimes you don't necessarily know how to interpret that, but regardless, it is there. So shielding yourself is really important, making sure you are not taking on board energy which is going to limit you or block you. You are not taking on board other people's emotions, which will weigh you down, drain you, and leave you with no energy to do the things that you want to do in this lifetime. And you'll feel like you're treading water the whole time. So the way to shield yourself, I did explain this, but for those who haven't seen that video, is to, it's very simple. You talk to Archangel Michael and you just ask to be placed in a protective shield of light for the day, a protective bubble, whatever wording feels right to you. And you might even like to visualize yourself in like a bubble or something protective. As I say, it will not stop you from being in difficult situations. So obviously if you can make, very practical decisions about where you spend your time, it's super important. And it won't stop you feeling those things because you are an empath and that's just the deal. But the idea is to stop those things becoming your state. You can be around someone who is going through a painful divorce, for example, and not come home wanting to cry and fall apart. You will still feel sad, but you won't be making that state your emotional state. Hopefully that makes sense. Wednesday's card, a very favourable outcome. I love this card. It's got the scales here, so I do like to point out to anyone it comes up for, scales symbolise obviously balance, but also justice. So perhaps if you are dealing with a legal or some sort of contract or some situation where there is a degree of justice needed, then perhaps this will give you some reassurance. It is an overwhelmingly reassuring card that reminds you or lets you know that things are going to work out okay. We don't know what that's going to look like just yet. This is the challenge of faith. We are challenged to believe in things that we cannot yet see. If we can see them, they're a fact, and it's less about faith, isn't it? So we're called to believe in things that we have no evidence of and beyond a feeling. And that's what intuition is for most of us. So it's about having trust and having faith in that outcome that you cannot see yet, and try not to control the outcome, because we don't get that sort of say in what that looks like. That's just, again, that's just the deal. There is a degree of balance of trust, and a balance of power, I would say, as well. Power is a very Leo-esque, I don't think I've said that very clearly, but a Leo type attribute. Leo is all about taking power, but we need to remember there is a balance of power. Sometimes there are things that the universe has control over that we don't, and we can sort of go a little bit, it can really drive us a little bit, I don't want to say crazy, but it can really drive us bananas if we're trying to overanalyze and understand why everything has happened the way it's happened. Sometimes the best thing to do is just understand it, that we don't know. We don't know why things have happened. We may never know, but being at peace with that sometimes is the best way to respond. If there are things that you can choose to do, definitely take back the power around those. But in terms of understanding, sometimes things happen that we don't have control over. It's a delicate balance of understanding, what are the things I need to accept? What are the things I need to make changes on? Thursday's card is also sort of about balance. This is a Celtic goddess called Maeve, and the card is about cycles and rhythms. Couple of ways this can show up for you. One of them might be about the moon, cycles of the moon. I mentioned there's a new moon coming on Thursday. Well, in my time zone. The new moon's on Wednesday. This is Thursday's card. This may be around you getting a call to use that energy. If you find that your energy is sort of quite erratic, you can be completely drained for no reason. That has nothing to do with your sleep patterns. You sometimes have huge amounts of energy for no reason. It has nothing to do with caffeine. You might like to notice the lunar patterns and see if that has anything to do with it. Maybe you're very sensitive to the patterns of the moon. This is also about cycles more generally. So we do have cycles in our lives where we are, and COVID has taught us this, we were all put in this pattern where we had to slow down, stop, reflect, review, not surge forward with our plans. That's been difficult for a lot of us to do. We are in a society that worships the hustle. That's all about productivity as being the key to our value. And for many people, doing nothing was really triggering, because it made them feel like they had no value, that they were worthless, that they were failing in some way. And so sometimes it's just about understanding that this is the cycle I'm in right now. I'm not going to try and be in resistance. I'm going to swim with the current, not against it. Maybe I just have to accept this at the moment. Equally, if you're in a pattern where things are go, 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 maybe work with that if you want to. So just looking at the cycle or the rhythm you might be in right now. Relationships have cycles too. Sometimes there are cycles of, a huge amount of romance. Sometimes there are cycles where the romance isn't there, and you can go in and out of that. But just making sure that it's not a prolonged cycle, I guess, would be the thing to think about there. This can be about the menstrual cycle as well for women. It could be about approaching menopause, making peace with that. It could be about if you've got problems with your menstrual cycle, maybe you need to address that. Just notice what is coming up for you around that. Friday's card. Have I got enough cards here? I don't know if I got enough. Oh yes, yes. Okay, notice the signs. One of the most popular cards or card messages that I ever have. Honestly, you should see the engagement every time I post something about signs. People love signs. Why? Comfort. It brings us so much comfort to see a sign and know that that is giving us reassurance that we are not alone, that we are loved, and that we're supported, and that things are going to be okay. What more could we need to know in this world, honestly? So this card comes up. If you've been noticing signs, this is telling you to pay attention to them. If you are struggling, this could be asking you to use the signs to your advantage by asking for them. So the way I explain signs is they are designed to give confirmation and validation. They are not there to warn you. If you're seeing a sign, sometimes people freak out and think, does that mean I'm doing it wrong? Do I need to make changes? Is this a red flag? It's not. That's not how the angels operate. They don't give you signs to tell you to do the things like that. They'll give you reassurance. If you're on the wrong track, if you are getting red flags, they will come to you from some other source that is not a sign. It may be a dream. It may be an intuitive feeling. So signs are validation. They don't make decisions for you. Don't ever say something like this: angels, I want to move to this city, but I'm not sure if it's right. So can you please give me a sign to help me decide? Because if you do something that's really open like that, if you see the sign, you're not going to know if it's a yes or a no. And that's not really the purpose of a sign. A sign is not there to tell you what to do. Instead, it would be better to sit with it, figure out what actually feels right for you, and then ask for the confirmation. I'm getting a sense that I need to move to this particular city. Can you please give me a sign that confirms that is the right thing for me? And then sometimes you might see the sign and still not be sure. So ask for another one. Honestly, I do that a lot because we are, we can be naturally skeptical, and sometimes we need that extra validation. And we can be afraid as well. And sometimes we just have to kind of come to a space of understanding that maybe I'm just going to move forward in spite of the fear, because I do know this is right for me. And trying to distinguish between that voice of fear and the voice of intuition, which is actually giving you the clear guidance. Saturday's card is chakra clearing. If you are not familiar with the chakras, they are not pathways. The energy in our energy fields moves through pathways, and there are 7 main discs or balls of energy that they will, or energy centers that they will move forward. I don't think I'm doing a very good job of explaining this. I do apologize. You may need to Google it if this is not working for you. But basically, our energy is moving through these pathways. It goes through like these big kind of roundabouts or intersections. If those are congested, they're blocked, they're out of balance, the energy is going to get stuck too. And that's when you start to get physical symptoms, and you start to get heavy emotions, and you start to get blockages. For example, the throat chakra, located around the throat conveniently. If there's blockages there, you can struggle to express yourself, because it is a chakra associated with self-expression and communication. So if it is blocked, out of balance, you can start to struggle to express yourself. Or perhaps you're struggling to express yourself and that has caused the block, because that might be something that you've had within you from a past life. Sometimes you get recurring tonsillitis or recurring sore throats. Sometimes you actually feel it if you're struggling to, there's something you need to say and you're too scared to say it. So the card doesn't give us any information about what particular chakra is blocked. But so you could see this as, if you are already working on energy healing, maybe you do Reiki, you already know what this might be, go ahead and do the clearing around whatever it is you know it to be. If you don't, look at your energy more generally and look at clearing that. So the ways to clear the sort of debris or the toxins or stuck energy that we take on board would be being in nature, being around the ocean, or ideally, if it's warm enough. It's winter here, I'm certainly not doing that. Flotation therapy is wonderful. Bathing in Epsom salts. A clearing meditation, tons of them on YouTube. Those can all be really great. Of course, as an energy healer, I'd always be an advocate for energy healing. Things like Reiki, kinesiology, reflexology, I think even, those can be really good as well. Go with what feels right for you. Sometimes it's just about needing to unplug, have a little break from your social media, except my content, obviously. Maybe switch off, spend some time away from other people's demands, just having that sort of mental wellness recharge of pulling yourself away, switching off. Sunday's card is super interesting, and right away I'm being drawn to the similarity of colours here. Purple is one of the colours of Archangel Michael, who is associated with fear, strength, protection, confidence. So this could be, if you have a strong message to share, this could be encouraging you to do that. It's the activist card. Activist sounds like a very strong word. If that is provoking for you, look at it as being an advocate. Who are you an advocate for? Is there someone in your life who is being treated unfairly that you need to speak up for? Is it you? Are you being treated unfairly? Do you need to speak up for yourself? or get yourself out of a situation where you are being treated disrespectfully or like you're less than. So those are some things to think about. If you are a committed advocate or activist for a cause, perhaps environmental, social justice, whatever it is, this could be encouraging you to continue sharing your messages around that. And perhaps you would like to call on Archangel Michael to help give you the courage and the confidence to do that. That's incredibly valuable work, but is one where it can get draining. So make sure you are looking after your self-care. If you are doing that, you are recharging, taking time out, staying off social media from time to time, and really looking after yourself. Definitely clearing your energy could be valuable. Okay, so fear. Fear is the big theme of the week. When is it not, to be honest? When is that not relevant? We've got some messages around, I don't actually know how these connect, to be honest. They're all over the place. We've got messages around, setting goals, looking at the cycle we're in, making peace with that, reassurance here again. I guess maybe that's a big one with the noticing the signs, and a need to clear ourselves with the chakra clearing and shielding. Yes, let's call that a theme. Clearing our energy, unwinding and detaching from time to time, letting go. So thanks for watching. I know that that's been a bit of a hodgepodge, but I'm sure you will have gotten at least one thing you needed out of that. So don't forget to check me out on Instagram each week. One Grounded Angel is my handle. I post each day, each card, which is about, well, it's early morning here in Australian time, but whenever you see the message is when you need the message. So don't get too confused if you're in a different time zone. And I'm also on Facebook, One Grounded Angel. And if you would like to reach out to me to do some energy healing, to maybe have a personal angel card reading to get some greater clarity around these messages and how they pertain to your situation, do that via my website, www.onegroundedangel.com, and my email address is onegroundedangel@gmail.com. And I work over Zoom, and yeah, so distance is no issue whatsoever. Thanks everybody for watching. Take care, have a fantastic week, and look after yourselves.